Writing a book is a great way to build authority and position yourself as an expert in any niche or industry. And today I'm going to show you how to set up an automation that allows you to write a book with just a click of a button. And also, you can actually try out this automation with the link in the description below and get your own free ebook. So there are two ways that books can help you increase and scale your business. One, you can sell it on Amazon or Kindle, and again, it builds your authority as a industry leader. Or the second way that you can use books to generate more leads and clients is by offering it as a lead magnet. And now you can customize every single book for every single person that comes through your funnel. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose that you are a personal trainer. So as a personal trainer, you can create a customized ebook for every single person who fills out this form on their website. So it can have their starting weight, their target weight, their age, and their goals for why they want to lose weight or gain muscle. And then it generates a custom ebook just for them, for their specific situation. This will allow you to gather valuable information about your leads. And two, it will also give something of value to those leads. So I hope you will implement this system into your business. Also, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Helena. In this channel, we talk about everything AI and automations. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, with that being said, let's dive in today's automation. So the first thing that we will need to do here is to set up Google Forms. So this form will collect information about the book that we want to write. Now, you can use any kind of form to start this automation. So you could definitely use a Jot form or opt-in form as well. But I'm going to use Google Form because it is free and accessible to everybody. So we're going to log into our Google account and go to Google Forms and create a blank form. I'm going to call this a book automation, and you can include whatever fields you want on this. I'm going to have the email field so that this book can be emailed to the recipient afterwards. And then I'm going to add in all of the questions I need to ask the audience about this book. The 4 questions that I'm going to ask the user is the book title, the book description, the number of chapters that they want in this book, and the reading level or difficulty. So once I have my form here, I am now ready to go on to the next step, which is to create this whole automation that's going to create the book. Now, there's something really important that I want to tell you here, and that is that OpenAI just launched a new language model, and it's called GPT-4o Mini. And instead of paying $15 for 1 million tokens, which was how much GPT-4o cost, GPT-4o Mini is just 60 cents for 1 million tokens. So that means that you can write about 4 million to 5 million characters for just 60 cents. I mean, that is mind-blowing. This technology has evolved so much in the past year, and we are going to see more and more competition in this field and the prices of tokens to come down more and more as well. Now, the next thing we need to do is to log into our Make.com account. Make.com is an automation tool like Zapier. I like it better than Zapier because it is much cheaper and more visual. Now, once we logged into our account, we're going to go up here at the top and create a new scenario. This is going to take us to a blank canvas. What I like about this tool is that it's basically completely no code. I just tell this automation the first step is this module, then the second step is this third step is this, etc. So in a very visual way, I can create my entire automation. So the first node is our trigger. So what's going to start this whole automation? I'm going to look for Google Forms because that is the trigger that we just set up. We need to connect the form that we have just created to this Make automation and tell it whenever this form is filled out, then this whole automation needs to be triggered. So in the search bar here, I'm going to search for Google Forms. And in terms of what I want this form to do, we're going to select watch responses. So this whole automation is going to trigger when there's a new response to this form. And if this is your first time connecting to Google Forms, make sure you log in with the Google account that you used to create this form. And now we need to put in the form ID. Enter the form ID, just click search and put in the document title. We called our form Google Automation. That's what I'm going to put in here. And then I'm going to press OK, and it's going to search for this form ID. Once I got that, I'm going to set the limit to 1. So I want 1 response to run at a time. And now I'm going to press OK. The next thing that we want to do is actually to write our prompt for the outline. I'm going to press the plus button here, and I'm going to search for OpenAI because that is the large language model or LLM that we're going to use to create our book today. I'm going to select create a completion under the task here. And if this is your first time connecting the OpenAI module to your make.com account, you will need an API key. So the API key is what allows OpenAI to identify that you are the one who is generating this text. You can kind of think of it as a key to a house that you're going to. Only the right key will unlock the door, right? So only the right API key here will allow you to use OpenAI off of the ChatGPT platform. To get your own OpenAI key, simply go to platform.openai.com/API-key. You'll be able to generate a key after you put in your credit card number. You don't want to share your OpenAI API key with anyone because if they have that key, they'll be able to generate text using your credit card. Now, once you get your key, just simply go up here and press add and put in your key right over here. After you do so, you'll be able to complete the rest of the fields here. And the next thing we need to do is select the model that we're going to use. We're going to use GPT-4o Mini. I'm going to select user, and in the prompt, this is where I can give the instruction to the AI. Okay, I have put in my prompt here, and it is, please write an outline for an ebook with the following: the title, description, number of chapters, and reading level. Now I need to fill in the variables I just collected from the Google form, and this is what's going to allow me to write a different book every single time. To fill in the different variables, I just need to click on where I want the variable to be inserted, and make will pop up all of the previous results that came from previous modules that I can use and now insert into this one. So I'm going to take a look at the results from the Google form. I'm going to expand on book title, the text answer, expand on answers again, and I want the value right here. And then same thing for the description. I'm going to expand on the text answer, the answer, and then insert in the value. And for the number of chapters, I'm going to just repeat the process here. After I have entered in all of the variables, the last thing is to put in a maximum number of tokens. This is the maximum length that I want this outline to be, and I put it at 500 tokens. And now I'm going to press OK. And I just did a test run, and I entered in some values for the book and description, and I ran it, and everything was successful. So now we're ready to go on to the next step. Before we do so, I'm just going to rename this, and I'm going to call it book outline, just so that we have everything organized. This is totally optional, but I just find that it just helps me organize my work. And I'm going to press the plus button here again, and this time I'm going to look for a variable, and what we want to select is set variable. And this is what allows us to start writing all of the chapters that we want to write in this book in a loop. Like I said earlier, when you just do one prompt, if you tell OpenAI or Claude to generate the entire book in one go, it's generally not going to be the exact length that you want. Even if you tell it write a 10,000 word book, it just doesn't do it in just one shot. So that's why we want to create a loop to write one chapter at a time. If it writes 1,000 words at a time, you can still be able to generate a very long article or book just in one shot here. So I'm going to call this variable cumulative chapters, and the value here is going to be blank because we're going to add to this throughout our loop. And I'm going to press OK. The next module that we will need is a repeater module. This is where we start our loop. So I'm going to search for repeater in the module section. I'm going to select a module called called repeater. After this, we need to define the initial value as well as the number of times that we want this loop to repeat. So the initial value will be set to 1, and the number of times that we want this loop to repeat will be the number of chapters that the user wants to write. I'm going to go into my Google Forms and expand on number of chapters, expand on text answers, expand on answers, and select the value here. So if the user wants to write 6 chapters, this loop will repeat 6 times. If the user wants to write 10 chapters, this loop will repeat 10 times. And now I'm going to press OK. Next, we are going to have to get the variable that we just set. So we're going to now search for a get variable in the search bar here at the bottom, and I'm going to select get variable. And the variable that we want to get is a cumulative chapters variable that we have just set. It's very important that you don't just insert in this variable name here, you actually want to type it out. Because if you select the variable here, it's going to select the value of that variable, which currently is blank. So really important that you type out whatever you just set that variable to be. And then I'm going to press OK. Next, I want to start writing the first chapter of my book. So I'm going to press the plus button here again, and I'm going to select OpenAI. And again, I'm going to select Create a Completion. I'm going to select the API key that I have used. And for the model, again, I'm going to do GPT-4o Mini, and the role will be user. And here is where I put in the prompt to write the chapters of my book. Okay, I have finished filling in my prompt for the chapters, and if you want this exact prompt, you can get it in my school community. The link is in the description below. After I have my prompt set up, I need to enter in the number of tokens for this chapter. I'm going to put the maximum token, so this is the maximum length of each chapter to be 10,000 tokens. Now, it's really exciting that GPT-4o also has an increase in token limits. It used to be 4,096. Now with GPT-4o Mini, it's over 16,000 as the maximum number of tokens. After we have our chapters written, we need somewhere to store the results from this chapter. And what we're going to do is set another variable. I'm going to look for set variable as my module and select that. And we want to store the results of that chapter. So we can just call this particular one chapter, and the value is going to be the result that just came out from the OpenAI module. So we're going to look for the OpenAI module from our list here as the value of this variable, expand on choices, expand on messages, and select the content. So it's the content of the previous module that's going to be the value of this chapter. Now, we want to save all of these chapters, right? Because if we just run this particular loop, it's only going to save all of the value from the last chapter, but we want to save all of the values from all of the chapters. And to do so, we're going to have to set another variable. And this time we want to set the cumulative chapters variable that we have just defined, and the value of this variable will be the value of the cumulative variable, and we're going to add in a new line. So we're going to go over to the tab with the A at the top, select new line, and now we're going to add in the response from the previous chapter. What this allows us to do is save all of the values from all of the chapters. And once we do so, we're going to press OK. Now we need to turn all of this into a PDF that we can attach to an email. So I'm going to press the plus button here again, and this time we want to look for Markdown to HTML. We need to convert the text that we have just written into HTML that we can then put into a PDF document to be sent out to the recipient who wants this book. So I'm going to select Markdown to HTML, and now we need to write what we want to include in this Markdown. And we want to include the title of the book. I'm going to expand on titles from the form section and expand on the text answers and expand on answers, this will be the title of the book. And I added a hashtag in front of the book title, and the hashtag in Markdown indicates that it's a heading 1 or H1 tag. It tells it that this is the title of the book, essentially. And then I want to go back to the A tab and add in a new line to this automation. And then I'm going to go back to the Star tab, which is where I have all of the values from the previous modules here, and I want to select cumulative chapters. So this will allow me to turn everything that we have just written into HTML. And before we move on, we actually need to modify the filter here. We need to define when this loop is going to end. So I'm going to press on the connection between the end of the loop to the next module. So we wanted to keep writing these chapters. And once all of these chapters are done, then we do the markdown, right? So we need to put in a filter here. I'm just going to press on the connection here, and you can give it a label that helps you identify this. I'm going to call mine done, and the connect condition here would be the value of the repeater, which is the variable I. So I in this case will be 1 on the first run, 2 on the second run, and it will run as many times as the number of chapters that you have. The condition here would be done, and it will be done when I is equal to the number of chapters that you have, which indicates that this loop has ended, okay? And once this loop has ended, then we can go on to the next step. And to make that this loop has ended, we created this label called done. You can call it whatever you want. It's just something to help you remember what it is. And when we know this loop is done is when I is equal to the number of chapters that we want to write. I'm going to press OK here. So now that I have everything in HTML format, the next thing is to put everything into a PDF and convert everything to a PDF. To do so, I'm going to press the plus module here again, and this time I'm going to search for PDF. There are many different modules that you can use to convert into a PDF document. My favorite one is a pdf.co because I find that their pricing is the most reasonable, and they do have many different responses that you can use in your PDF documentation. In order to get an API key from pdf.co, just go to their website and put in your credit card, and you'll be able to generate a key. So once you do so, you want to go to convert HTML to PDF as the action that you wanted to take. If this is your first time connecting to pdf.co, then press the plus button here and enter in your API key. Now, the only mandatory field here is the data. So the data is the HTML text that you have just generated that now you want to convert into a PDF document. Now, before you can convert this into a PDF document, you need to add in some of the header HTML code here. It's just a couple of lines. You just have to put in this bit of text right here, and I'll also include it in my school community as well, so make sure you join. Then I'm going to enter in all of the HTML text that we have just outputted, and then close everything off. So in order to end our HTML, we just had to put in the slash body and slash HTML to wrap everything up. Now with all of this, I just need to press OK here and send this PDF in a email, which brings me to my last module here. I'm going to search for Gmail, and I'm going to send an email as my action. If this is your first time connecting to Gmail, press add and sign in with the Google account that you want to use. You need to fill in who this email is going to, what the subject line is going to be, and the content of that email. So the email address is going to be the email address that the person put in the Google form. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom until I find the Google Forms module and select the respondent's email as the variable that I want to fill in the email field. Now I'm going to fill in the subject line and content. Great, I have filled in the contents of my email. The subject line is your ebook is ready, and the content here is please see attached for your ebook. Enjoy, Helena. Now, before we can wrap this up, I need to add in the attachment, the PDF that we have just created. So I pressed on add attachment, and I'm going to select the PDF file that was just generated, and this whole automation is now finished. I'm going to save everything and let's give it a try. Okay, I have put in all the data that I want to include in my book. The book title is The War of 1812. I gave it a description. I want 6 chapters in this book, and I want it to be written at a 5th grade reading level. Now I'm going to press submit and watch this whole automation run. Okay, it's been about a minute, and when I check my email, I can see that my ebook is attached, and when I click on it, I can see the ebook that I have requested. It's all about the War of 1812. You can also try this automation yourself as well. The link is going to be in the descriptions. You can write about anything that your heart desires here. Also, if you want to learn more about AI and automations, create any kind of automations that you want, then please join my free AI and automations training. The link is going to be in the descriptions. All of the assets that we discussed today will also be in my school community. And if you want a free trial to my AI chatbot, I'm going to include a link to that in the descriptions as well. I just want to thank you so much for joining me for today's tutorial. I hope you will try this out because it is such a game changer. Now you can use this ebook automation to write as many books as you want that you can post onto Amazon, into iBooks, any platform that you want to make hundreds if not thousands of dollars every single month. You can also use this as a lead magnet to create a specific book or resource for every single lead that comes through your funnel. And having that level of personalization, you will just see your conversions skyrocket. So I really hope you will give this automation a try. And thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.